This guy got stranded in the middle of the road with his car and ended up coming face to face with a mysterious red-eyed creature that appeared right in front of him. The video was uploaded to an Instagram account under the name Pasha Brill. According to Pasha, everything started with a simple, almost stupid situation. He was driving through a forest when he ran over a sharp branch. The result? A flat tire and being completely stuck on an empty road deep in a wooded area. He starts filming everything on his phone, with some footage also coming from his dash cam. At first, he treats it like a joke, saying something along the lines of, "Look how I managed to mess this up out of nowhere. No spare tire, no signal, no people around, just the forest, and darkness slowly setting in."
Колесо спущено. За час, который я здесь нахожусь, ни одна машина не проехала. Единственное, что меняется в этой ситуации, то, что начинает темнеть.
After some effort, he manages to catch a weak signal for a few seconds and calls a friend. The friend agrees to come, but it's about a 4-hour drive, and that's when things start to get interesting. The first clips are completely normal. He's just passing time, talking to the camera, walking around the car. But once the forest is fully covered in darkness, everything changes. There's movement in the bushes.
Что это за херня была?
At first, it seems like a normal animal. Something runs across the road. He assumes it's probably a dog or some kind of wildlife. But then he notices the eyes, bright red, glowing in the dark. The figure stops right in the middle of the road, looks straight at him, and then runs off into another part of the forest. At that moment, he freezes. The creature is on all fours, but something about it feels off. The body is dark, almost hairless, and its movements don't look natural. Instead of staying in the car and waiting, he makes a decision he later regrets. He follows it into the forest. Curiosity takes over.
Работает.
Between the trees, those same red eyes keep appearing. The creature seems to be hiding, backing away, but never fully disappearing. At one point, it moves behind a tree and is suddenly gone, as if it climbed it or simply vanished into the darkness. After that, all he can do is re-watch the footage and try to understand what he actually saw. There are a lot of theories. The simplest one, it was just a wild animal, with lighting causing the eyes to reflect in a strange way. Maybe even something unusual, like an escaped monkey. It sounds weird, but at least it's a logical explanation. Other theories are far more disturbing. The chupacabra, the rake, skinwalkers. The internet is full of stories like this. In January 2024, a YouTuber known as Josh the Intern set out to explore the Pyrenees Mountains after spotting a crash site on Google Maps. His content is usually positive, focused on exploring hidden and remote locations, showcasing beautiful and lesser-known places. But this time, things quickly took a darker turn. Before even reaching the crash site, he noticed a strange structure that looked like someone might be living there. Even though the crash site was his main goal, he decided to leave the trail and take a closer look at the building. He was alone, in a remote area, and completely unprepared for what he was about to find. At first, the hike was calm and scenic, beautiful views, untouched nature. But then he noticed something unusual just off the path. It turned out to be the ruins of an old building. He approached it, and that's when things started to feel genuinely unsettling.
Definitely lives here. There's canned food. Someone definitely lives here. Maybe not all the time, but often enough, which is crazy because this is really in ruins and in the middle of nowhere. Very creepy.
Inside, it was clear that someone had been living there. He found canned food and other signs of human presence. Not necessarily all the time, but often enough to suggest the place wasn't abandoned. And that's what made it even stranger. The building was in poor condition and located far from civilization. The moment he stepped inside, he felt a strong sense of unease, and the deeper he went, the worse it got. Inside, he discovered a huge number of photographs. They were everywhere, on the floor, on the bed, on the walls. The same faces repeated over and over again.
Same people. Look at all these photos. These are all photos of people. Photos of people on the floor. Tons of them. On the bed. I'm gonna get out of here. This is really creepy. I don't know why there's so many photos.
It didn't feel like a normal living space, more like some kind of unsettling hideout or even a shrine. The most disturbing part, the photos mostly showed women and children. Realizing he had never come across anything like this before during his hikes, he decided to leave as quickly as possible. But before leaving, he made one more discovery outside.
That is one of the creepiest things I've ever found while hiking. Someone is living in there, and I think someone is stalking people.
Next to the main structure, there was a smaller building. Inside, there was a bed and objects that looked like ropes.
After leaving that house, I feel like I'm being watched. All of a sudden feels very quiet and eerie around here. There's something really strange going on in these mountains, for sure.
After that, he began to feel like he was being watched. Despite this, he continued his journey and eventually made it to the crash site. Later, he posted an update explaining that he was so disturbed by what he found that after coming down from the mountain, he contacted the police and provided them with the coordinates along with all the footage. However, to this day, he has not received any response from authorities, and most likely, we will never know what was really happening in that place. On January 26th, 2026, a video was uploaded that started as a simple hike, but quickly turned into a real survival story. The channel Trail Off originally began as a basic vlog about hiking and outdoor life in New Zealand. The events take place in the foothills of the Tararua Range. At the beginning of the video, a hiker named Graham is walking through dense forest. At first, it really is just a normal hike. He passes under a massive tree and pauses for a moment to take in the scale and beauty of the surroundings. But at one point, a single mistake changes everything. After stepping onto a root hidden beneath the leaves, he feels a sharp snap and a surge of pain in his leg. He falls to the ground and almost immediately realizes this is serious.
Well, I'm on the ground right now. I've stepped down onto a root and it's given way, and I've heard a snap either in the root or in my ankle, and now I'm in a bit of pain. So I guess this is a really good opportunity for me to document what I'm doing to get myself out of this situation. I want to be clear, this is not pretend. It's a real life survival situation now where I've hurt myself. I don't know how badly. I've already called loudly for help. No one has heard, and there's every chance that at 2:39 p.m. in the afternoon on a Saturday, there's a chance I might be the last person through this trail for the day.
Despite the pain, he stays calm and begins recording, fully aware that he's now in a real survival situation. He doesn't yet know how bad the injury is, but it's already clear that getting out on his own might not be possible. He calls out for help, but no one responds. At the same time, he understands that at this time of day, he could easily be the last person on the trail. He suspects he may have broken his ankle, and knows the pain could get worse once the initial shock wears off.
Basically what I think I have to do is test walking on it a bit. It's real sore. There's a branch fallen further down the track. I'm going to get my stuff, especially my PLB, and get there and get myself situated and reevaluate. I fell over there. The fuck? Like...
As evening approaches, the situation becomes even more urgent, with less and less time to decide what to do. He carefully tests whether he can put weight on his leg, and starts considering activating his emergency locator beacon. It's not an easy decision. He fully understands how serious that step is. He decides to move slightly, gather his belongings, and get himself into a more stable position before reassessing the situation. After putting on warmer clothing, he continues recording, trying to stay composed. He manages to contact emergency services via GPS and waits for help. As time passes, frustration and tension begin to build, but he focuses on what he can control. Then, suddenly, he hears a sound. A helicopter.
Stupid, but the second you see the helicopter, you think, I'm in this clearing. How can you not have seen me?
He realizes help is close, but he can barely move to signal his location. After some time, a rescue team arrives. They descend through the trees and reach him. Medics examine his injury and confirm it's a fracture on the outer part of his ankle. Serious, but not the worst-case scenario. He is secured in a harness and carefully lifted through the trees. The helicopter transports him to the hospital. Later, he reflects on the experience, emphasizing how important preparation is, the ability to stay calm, and the value of having safety tools that can literally save your life in critical situations. On August 18th, 2019, A heartbreaking incident took place in the forests of Portugal when a group of cyclists came across something truly disturbing. The video was uploaded to a YouTube channel called Animal Shelters Near Me, a channel dedicated to real stories of people rescuing animals. In the footage, a group of cyclists rides along a forest trail, but as they go deeper into the woods, one of them suddenly slows down. Something near a tree just off the path catches his attention. At first, it's hard to tell what they're looking at, but as the camera gets closer, the scene becomes painfully clear. A dog is tied to a tree. The rope is so tight that it can barely move. It's wrapped around the trunk in a way that leaves the animal almost completely immobilized. The dog can't properly turn its head, and the rope is so short that it can't even lie down comfortably. The animal looks exhausted and terrified, standing in the same spot where it had likely been for hours, possibly even days. The cyclists' voices shift from curiosity to concern as they realize what they're seeing. It quickly becomes clear that whoever left the dog there did it intentionally. Without hesitation, one of the cyclists steps in and starts trying to free it. His hands are shaking as he works to untangle the rope, and the moment it finally comes loose, the dog's body visibly relaxes, almost collapsing from relief. The video was later shared by a Spanish animal rights organization, which strongly condemned the cruelty behind what happened. They emphasized that it takes an extremely cruel person to leave a defenseless animal tied in such a way that it can't even lie down. On April 22, 2025, what seemed like a simple walk along a creek in Chihá State Park quickly turned into something far more disturbing and intense. The YouTube channel Exploring Alabama is known for taking viewers to abandoned places, small urban creeks, and forgotten trails, blending outdoor exploration with elements of history. That day, the creator, a guy named Jeff, headed into the national forest planning nothing more than a calm walk along the water. His plan was simple: follow the creek upstream, see what kind of wildlife he might come across, and maybe even find traces of the past, something forgotten or hidden. However, it didn't take long for him to realize he had forgotten his boots and was only wearing light shoes. Even so, he brushed it off and stepped into the creek anyway. As he moved along the water, he joked about potential risks, sprayed himself with bug repellent, and started turning over rocks, hoping to spot frogs, turtles, or maybe even a snake. At first, everything felt calm and even enjoyable. Under the rocks, he found small creatures, and sometimes just smooth, shimmering stones. But at some point, the atmosphere shifted. Among the rocks and debris, he noticed something unusual, something pale, something that clearly didn't belong there. Looking closer, he realized what it was.
That is a human mandible. That is part of a human skull.
A human jaw, part of a human skull. Those weren't stones. They were human remains. And in that moment, the quiet and peaceful creek no longer felt safe. Jeff immediately stepped back, marked the location in his memory, and called the police, knowing he shouldn't touch anything. Within minutes, authorities arrived. He stayed nearby and calmly explained exactly what he had seen and what he had not touched. As the officers began examining the area, it felt as if the forest itself had gone completely still. After some time, investigators confirmed that the remains belonged to a local man who had gone missing years earlier and was reportedly connected to a small, isolated cult. The discovery completely changed the way the place felt, blending the natural beauty of the forest with the harsh and unsettling reality of what had happened there. By the end of the day, the area was secured, and Jeff finally left, allowing the forest to fall back into silence once again. This unsettling video was uploaded by a YouTube channel called Moto Wild, a channel that combines off-road adventures, motorcycle trail riding, and cinematic storytelling with a tense, almost suspenseful atmosphere. Most of the content is filmed from a first-person perspective, where the rider unexpectedly finds himself in strange or even dangerous situations. The events take place on June 18th, 2025. While exploring a remote trail, the rider notices a suspicious man who appears to be burying something. Curious, he decides to check what's going on. What he finds is far from ordinary. He discovers a partially damaged bag and begins going through it. There's something inside, but at first, it's not entirely clear what it is. Then suddenly, everything changes.
Oh shit, I don't know if I can make it back up. Man, what is inside of this? Oh, it's the bag, man. It's a fucking bag. Got to be careful, maybe it's something expensive that can break. But I just hope it's money. Oh, well, there's not a lot of things inside of this, but it's a bag and we want to know what that is. Gun. There is a lot of hunters inside of this bag, man. Oh shit, man, that's Coco.
Inside the bag, there appears to be a weapon wrapped in plastic, along with what looks like freshly printed, possibly stolen money. At that moment, the man who buried the bag notices the rider and starts running straight toward him. Without hesitation, the rider grabs the bag, jumps back onto his motorcycle, and speeds away. According to the uploader, the bag and its contents were later handed over to the police. However, there is no detailed information available about what happened next.